Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm joined by Arizona State wrestler Tanner Hall. Tanner, what a season you just had, and you're only a sophomore. I just want to kind of go over some of the stuff that you were able to accomplish this year. You were a Pac-12 champion, you were a Pac-12 first-team All-Academic, finished third in the NCAA championships, and you were an All-American. What was this season like for you overall?
Any wrestling season's a long one. You just have so many matches and you're always traveling and trying to stay on top of schoolwork. It can be tough, but this season overall, it was a good one, you know. There were a lot of ups and downs and high points and kind of points where you had to work through, you know, the bumps in the road, but in the end the result was pretty good.
How does it compare to your freshman season?
Freshman season, I didn't have a bad freshman season. It could have been better, obviously. It was hard because I had just come off a 2-year mission that I took for my church in Uganda. And so coming right back off the mat, you know, I was really rusty on certain things. And so, of course, I struggled a little bit there, but obviously compared to last year, it's good.
Yeah, and then this year you go into the Pac-12 championships, and then you end up Pac-12 champions. What was your mindset going into the tournament?
Well, of course, wrestling, it's an individual sport as much as it is a team sport.
Right.
And so, of course, you got to focus on yourself and what you have to get done. And then, of course, the team aspect is, you know, it's kind of like an added bonus. It's the whipped cream on top of, you know, your dessert. And so it was great to win both an individual and a Pac-12 title. It was really fun as a team.
Yeah. What was the moment like as soon as you knew you were an individual heavyweight Pac-12 champion?
I mean, it was great. It's definitely a stepping stone on the road. It's a goal that you have, but it's not the cumulative, you know, the big one that stands on top. Of course, that's NCAA's, but of course, it was a good feeling.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, what was your mindset going into the NCAA championships?
It's kind of the same thing. You just have to prepare, you know, each match at a time. You can't look ahead and say, okay, after this match, I might have this person. You just got to take it one at a time. So it's intense too. The crowd can be vicious. There's 20,000 people out there. It's intense. It's one of the greatest environments you'll ever wrestle in front of. And so it's fun.
Something you'll remember.
Of course.
Of course. And you were in the NCAA championships last year.
Yes.
What was the difference between that?
Just having that extra year under my belt, you know, one, actually being there and competing and understanding what the environment's like last year, and then also just having that extra year of experience.
You came out in third place, and the road to third was tough. I mean, you had to go up and upset number 4, Jacob Casper from Duke, and then you won that 8-5. Just kind of take me through that match.
So, of course, going into that, he's somebody that's very highly touted as an athlete, somebody who's experienced as well. And so, of course, you know, when you have opponents like that, it's not going to be an easy match. And so, you know, you roll in and you kind of just visualize before your match what you have to do and what your game plan is. And maybe you might pay attention a little bit to some of his strengths. But for me personally, I like to focus on, you know, what my game plan is and what I like to do.
So you visualize yourself winning?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Everyone does. At least I would hope everyone does.
Right. And then after that, then you go on to beat number 3 Ty Walls. And I was looking at his stats and your stats, and you were 0-3 against him going into that match. And then you went on a tiebreaker. What got into you?
You know, Ty and I have wrestled a lot over the past couple of years, and even before I got into college. And so we have an extended history of, you know, going back and forth. And so the matches we'd always wrestled always been very close. And so it was just kind of, it came down to the moment and I wanted it and I knew I wanted it and I just made it happen.
You knew it was your last match?
Basically, I mean, the last match of the season, why not throw it all out there, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, what does that mean to you? Coming out of the NCAA tournament as an All-American and the 3rd best wrestler in the heavyweight division.
Placing 3rd versus even 5th or, of course, 8th, there's a huge difference because when you place 3rd, it means you only lost once. If you place 5th or 6th, you maybe lost twice, maybe lost 3 times. So it's a huge difference to me between placing 3rd and placing anywhere else.
Is it a confidence boost knowing that you're only a sophomore and you got 2 more years of this?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yeah. How much of an influence does your coach, Zeke Jones, have on you during the season?
Zeke's awesome. He's, you know, one of the best coaches I've ever had, if not the best. He's very meticulous about his planning, about his technique, about different things, which helps me a lot because it helps me to, of course, be meticulous with myself. And so just the level of planning and dedication that goes in on his part is outstanding.
I can only imagine that the season's just a grind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's long from day one, even before day one. We're in preseason, we're out there sprinting, doing conditioning, and then by the end, you've wrestled 30, sometimes 40 matches, and it's long.
You end the season 35-6. You only lose 6 times. What's it like after a loss? Do you think about what you could do better, or do you go into the next match angrier and that helps you?
Each loss in and of itself is different. Personally, for me, after I lose, of course, there's those feelings of frustration and anger because I personally feel like if I lose, I feel like I could have done better, of course. But it's just kind of regroup, and it kind of depends on what happens. If it's in a dual meet, you have maybe a couple days before you got to wrestle again. If it's at the NCAA tournament, you got to turn around and wrestle again in 30 minutes.
Right.
And so it just kind of depends on what happens, but it's mostly just kind of a move past it and think about what's coming out in the future.
Okay. Is that something you've had to develop since being at college?
Unfortunately, I've lost play enough in my life that no, I've experienced that previously.
At least you can admit it.
There you go.
Takes a man to admit that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I would like to think that I've experienced that enough before that I kind of have that under control.
Yeah, but number 3 in the nation, you can be proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's something that you're going to try to improve for next season?
Definitely being a more offensive wrestler. Not that I don't feel like I had some decent offense this year, but just, heavyweight's characterized by big, slow guys that do nothing all match, and then all of a sudden in the end, somebody wins. And, I did have matches like that this year, but I would like to be much more offensive in the coming year and years so that, one, it's more entertaining, and two, typically the more offensive wrestlers, the guys who score more points win more often. So.
Well, that makes a lot of sense then. So before you got 2 more years here at Arizona State, what would you like to accomplish maybe personally and as a team?
Well, of course, personally, I'm shooting for a national championship myself, and I think the goal is no lesser for the team. We came here under the impression that we were going to work hard enough and we were going to be dedicated enough that we could win as a team. And so that's definitely, what the coaches are pushing us for, what we all kind of have that internal drive for. And if we can stand at the end of our time being here saying, hey, collectively we won X amount of national titles and we were national team champions, it'll be a good day.
You guys as a team are fantastic, obviously Pac-12 champions. When you see some of your other wrestling teammates and they are constantly winning, is it kind of a conveyor belt system and, if they win, that means I have to win too?
Of course. I mean, you always feed off your teammates' energy. So, of course, if the guys in front of me are doing well, it makes it that much easier to do well. Also, there's kind of a little bit of competition that goes into it. You got, somebody in front of you and they win. You got, now I got to win.
Right.
I just got to do it. And so, of course, all those factors come into play. But it's great when you're surrounded by, an atmosphere of winners.
Mm-hmm. Tanner, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. And I just want to say good luck for next year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, man.